Hi Amy, this is Alice. I'm going to try and give you some feedback here on your research paper using a screencast-o-matic and see if that kind of helps us out. So here I am in your running head, and I want to point out to you a few things as we go along. So this is perfect, running, that word, and then this word head, it needs to be a small h, and that is a little counterintuitive, but for APA style, and all of what I'm going to be talking to you about comes from the APA publication manual. And we're not doing, of course, everything in these 250 pages. We're just picking out a few things to practice. And one of those few things includes the title page and the running head. Okay, so the next thing in the running head is this comma that you have should be replaced by a colon and then space. Okay, so a couple of small corrections there, and then you have Carl Rogers and the Humanistic Theories of Motivation. Perfect. Okay, so I had to pause there for a moment to get out of the header. But you also did this very nicely. You repeated your title here, Carl Rogers and the Humanistic Theories of Motivation. Put your name and Front Range Community College. That all looks great. Now, in the header here on page 2, you did a perfect job there as well. You have the title repeated but without running head, so way to go on that. That's kind of tricky. And you have page 2 here. But let me talk to you about the abstract. We don't have an abstract in our paper. It talked about it in that video a little bit, but our paper is very short. It's 4 pages of content plus another page for the title page, and then the 6th and final page is for the references. So you can remove this abstract page, and that will move this content up then to be page 2. Now, one thing I will tell you though is we're going to be repeating this title, so I'm just going to copy and then I'm going to paste it in the spot where it's going to be repeated. It will be repeated here at the top of what's going to become page 2, centered. Just going to drop it in there for you. And then we'll get rid of this quadruple spacing. Everything for APA style needs to be double spaced. Now I'm taking a look here. Oh, look at this. They changed your font on you. So this needs to be Times New Roman. So I'm just going to change it here really quick. 12-point font for APA style. So this, let's just take it off here. I'm going to delete and bring up your content. Hopefully here it comes to page 2. Okay, so let me see. This is all time. This is Times New Roman, but it looks like it's font 11. So I'm just going to change it to font 12 so that everything is the same there. Now let's take a look at this page. You have what looks like direct quotes. So for this paper, you want to minimize direct quotes as much as possible. Instead, what you're going to be doing is paraphrasing or summarizing material. So your first assignment was to use the textbook. And so what I would typically see here then would not be Roger's name, but it would be Hockenberry, Nolan, and Hockenberry. So I don't know if you got this Rogers citation from the textbook or from somewhere else. So 2 points here, let's visit them one more time. When you have these quotation marks, what I want you to do instead is to paraphrase or put the material into your own words. And that way you'll stay below that 15% non-originality when you come to submitting this to Dropbox. So just work on this a bit more and change it to be in your own words. The second thing then is the in-text citation, this Rogers 1961-1977. Like I said, I don't know if it comes from our textbook or not, and the same with this King citation. So I need you to tell me if they come from our textbook. If they do, then it's what's called a secondary source, and I'm going to direct you to a different spot to get some information about how to do in-text citations um, for secondary sources. So let me take a quick look at your references because you have those also started here. So you're going to start the references here at the top of it. Will turn into the final page, page 6. But APA style never uses bold. They just always use that Times New Roman 12-point font. So it looks like you have On Becoming a Person here. So you must have gotten this book, this is a famous book by Carl Rogers, On Becoming a Person. Now, let me tell you that you need 3 sources for this paper. The first one is your textbook, which you have down here. The second one will be a website, and the third will be a journal article. If you want to use On Becoming a Person and you wanted to add a little bit of information from this as well, that's fine, but you'll be going beyond what the requirements are for the paper. So that's up to you, and I wouldn't say take it off, get rid of it all right away, but just keep that in mind. So this Rogers 1961, I'm going to go back here and look at that. Here's Rogers 1961. So I wonder if you took that from the book On Becoming a Person. Yeah, you might have. So if that's the case, I'm going to say that's okay, except that, again, you want to severely limit direct quotes. So you would need to make some changes here in this. Another thing that I see is this period right here, right there. You're going to remove it, and then you just put the period outside the in-text citation. So the same would be for this one. I'm going to delete it, and then periods go at the end here. So I don't know this king, where king is. I don't see that in your references at this point, so I'm not really sure where this came from. It might be a secondary source. So why don't you let me know a little bit more about where these came from. Go ahead and put this into your own words, and then if this is a citation from Rogers, it would be Rogers, comma 1961. I'm not sure why this 1977 is also in here, so you might tell me a little bit more about that. This second citation that you have, let me just say, you always are going to need a comma between the author's last name and then the year of publication. So we need to work a little bit more on these two. Once you do some corrections, send it to me with some comments. Let's look at the references really quick. Good start on these. We're just going to focus on this one. You don't need this word author, so I'm just going to go ahead and take that out. And when you do references, you use the author's last name, and then instead of writing out the full first name, you use initials, S period, A period, and then comma, Nolan, that's the second author. Excellent. So we're going to take out the other part of Susan, so it's going to be S period, A period, comma. And here, when we get to the third person, it's Anne Hockenberry, and it's not Don, but just the D period, H period. So you did a nice job here. Year of publication, Discovering Psychology in italics. Now, this particular book, it's our 7th edition. So we're going to put that in there, 7th ed, end parenthesis period, and then you have it from New York, comma, NY. Excellent. And then we have a colon, and the publisher is Worth, period. Okay, so I made some corrections here based on what you'll find in APA style. I'm not going to address this one right now. Oh, look here. Here's this king person. So I'm not really sure what you're doing up here. Looks like you might have multiple sources. So you might need to tell me a little bit more about what's going on with this one. Okay, so there were a few changes, and you can make some of these changes in your paper and maybe send me a little bit more information about what you're trying to do here and in this first paragraph. And know that in the first paragraph, I will specifically be looking for 2 in-text citations from your textbook, Hockenberry, Nolan, and Hockenberry. So maybe just hold on to this paragraph here, kind of move it down into the paper, and instead create an introductory paragraph with Hockenberry, Nolan, and Hockenberry, and then kind of transition into some of your other material. All right, so please send me your corrections. Thank you.